So hello everyone and welcome to the interview related to stereotypes in sport. This is part of the project SWOST, Sport Without Stereotypes, where Lapland University of Applied Sciences is involved, and we are part of the wide European consortium in which several countries are tackling the same problem: stereotypes and discrimination in the field of sport. That is very topical nowadays, as we well know. And the interview is conducted in 12th of August 2022. And today we are happy to have Ms. Tarja Krum from Swedish-speaking Sport Federation of Finland as our guest. And we are grateful to the federation and also to the SWOST consortium that we can implement this interview today. So welcome, Tarja. And before we start, would you like to say something before, or shall we just go straight to the questions?
Yeah, thank you, Nico. Thank you for the introduction. Just to repeat, my name is Tarja Krum and I'm working as a sustainability manager at Finland Svenska Idrott, which is, as Nico said, a Swedish sport organization in Finland.
All right, thank you so much. And so you already introduced yourself and your affiliation. So maybe we go straight to the question 2. What kind of sport background are you having?
Well, when I was a child, I participated in many kind of grassroots sports activities. For example, track and field, gymnastics, floorball, and football. And in overall, physical activity was really close to my heart throughout elementary school. But I was also actively taking part in the local orienteering club, which more or less became my passion. And that's why a lot of my time went to that sport. And I also competed in orienteering for about 10 years, both in the grassroots level, but also in national Finnish championships.
Excellent. And you clearly have several kind of experiences and background in the field of sport. But what kind of roles you have had in the field of sport? Would you like to briefly tell the different roles that you have had?
Yes, of course. I have actually had quite many roles in sports, which I'm really grateful for. I am familiar with being an athlete, and coach, board member, manager, volunteer, and employee in sports. One important reason for this is actually when I was younger, I got the opportunity in our orienteering club to also try other roles than just being an athlete. Namely, in our local orienteering club, the young members and the young athletes were encouraged in really young age to function also as orienteering leaders for the orienteering schools for children. And there I got the opportunity, beside being a leader, also take more responsibility, like planning and executing the arrangements, which I believe gave me more confidence that I can also be a leader in sports one day. So after high school, it was quite natural for me to choose to study sports science to become a sports instructor. Beside my bachelor degree in sports, I also did my master's degree in sports science with specialization actually in coaching. And coaching has additionally been a really important part or an important experience for me. And for a couple of years, I actually coached a couple of athletes, young athletes. And at the same time, I also took my coaching exam at the Finnish Orienteering Federation. And this also opened for me the door to become a board member at the Finnish Coach Association of Orienteering. And all the roles have their charm, but definitely for the moment, I consider to have my favorite, which is namely being a sustainability manager and working with sustainability topics at the Sports Federation. For me, really close to my heart is working with gender equality and safe sports, which I'm doing by educating in mainly in these topics and tackling subjects like norms, stereotypes, power techniques, and so on.
Okay, very interesting. And so you are clearly very well on track with the different aspects and roles that the sport as an activity include, and therefore you are looking to sport as a topic in society
Yes,
uh, in a way that you understand well what is happening in different levels, and you have also personal experience from all these levels basically, which makes you very kind of a valuable for the project as well,
thank you.
because you can inform us then widely what is happening in the Finnish sport currently. When it comes to the topic of stereotypes and discrimination, based on your experience, have you faced stereotypes regarding gender equality or inequality?
Yes, I have. For example, stereotypes when it comes to the being a leader in sports. Generally, men fit the norms or are more the idol sports leader, which negatively affects them who are deviant. Those who are deviant are at a bigger risk of being questioned or being exposed to harassment and or inappropriate behavior in overall. For instance, my own experience of this is when I was a leader in children's activities. I was trusted and I was encouraged to take that position. But when I functioned as a coach and then manager for a regional orienteering federation, it was totally opposite. I was like questioning for if I was capable of performing in that role and doing the tasks. So in the end, I also noticed that I got quite used to that my opinion wasn't asked, or if I said my opinion, I was quieted down. So more or less, this affected my motivation for the work and also my self confidence. And another thing I also have noticed that when it comes to athletes, sometimes athletes of different sexes are encouraged to do different physical training. Once I actually witnessed an instructor offering 13-year-old boys more challenging physical exercises, where again 13-year-old girls were offered more like easier exercises. And this had the impact on the young athletes' choice of exercises, even if they had the same ability, the same physical ability. And this is what I'm personally very worried about, that girls believe that they are not that capable of doing the same sports or performing in the same way as boys, and thereby they don't maybe use their whole capacity and potential they physically have. And this might in the long run also lead to that it strengthen the segregation of female and male dominated sports, and in overall that maybe girls and women choose to instead like put more effort on other areas in society instead of sports. And furthermore, I also have a couple of times witnessed that for me as a woman, I have naturally been suggested tasks that seem more suitable for women. For instance, then when I was a young athlete, I attended a training camp in Denmark with other male athletes. I was the only female athlete and I was 16 years old. And then one of the male athletes joked that all the women at this training camp should do the dishes and food for us others. And you can only imagine how, if I felt appreciated and how angry I got. So in overall, most likely I would never, as a woman, be questioned if I would volunteer to help with cooking or doing the dishes, for example, on some event, or helping with the children activities and so on. And I have noticed this based on my own experience, but also on others' experiences. And also, research is confirming this pattern that men have more and more possibilities to be in the leading roles in sports. But in overall, for me, it's I'm really grateful for having uh, I had the possibility to try these different roles and have the experience because it has given me more an intersectional view and understanding. And with this, I mean that in some roles, I have had more a natural way of fitting in compared to others where I have felt what it is to not fit the norm. And this has also helped me to understand others and their experiences in sport.
Hmm. So it seems that the norms that we have, they are quite, they are like iron gates still
Definitely,
existing in the
definitely,
field of sport, and I can also agree that certain things are relatively strongly influencing still to the way the things are organized and way we behave in groups and many kind of associations and so on and so on. Anyhow, very important information for the project as well, and I'm sure that with this data we can develop something that makes society at least a little bit better in the future. The final question in our interview, you mentioned it earlier that you are working today with topics like this in sports. What do you think can be done to make sport without stereotypes possible in the future? What kind of suggestions do you have?
yes, I think this is really important. I think there's two really important things. Firstly, education. It is a way to make these stereotypes or example of them more visible and also to raise awareness of them. Also to bring up the causes, what causes the stereotypes? What are the embedded structures, and thereby bringing up the importance of actually working with gender equality. Many people in sport and society are so used to these structures that they don't even see them and they are not aware of them. And it's just a part of a culture. And thereby, I think education in gender equality should be permeated in all the sports education, no matter if it's education for coaches or for leaders, board members, and so on. Um, Education also actually gives the opportunity to hear others' experiences in being a female leader or coach or a female manager. That can be essential in that you are not giving up and also understanding more the phenomenon. In this way, people who are in a weaker position might also be more aware of why it is tough for them and get the possibility to get peer support and hopefully also be empowered. And secondly, another important part is the research. It is really good that today it's done more and more research in gender equality in sports. Uh, Often I hear from sports clubs comments like, we already have gender equality in our sports club, which is often like based on a feeling. And the sports club might have gender balance among their members, or they might have actually more female coaches and female instructors in youth and children's activities compared to male instructors and coaches. But when we look at the decision making positions or at the elite level positions, there might be only one gender represented, or specific leader roles are usually just going to certain types of people. And unfortunately, gender equality is often taken for granted, And thereby, the numbers from researchers are really essential and needed. So I think these two are really important, education and research.
Okay. Thank you of this informative interview and information you have shared with us and with the project. And I'm confident that we will elaborate this further when we produce the self-assessment tool for the clubs and when we disseminate information about the topic. And to conclude, I would guess that one important thing happened this summer when there was this soccer games of female soccer players, or actually soccer tournament of soccer players. We don't have to highlight that it was female soccer tournament, but still the change was very clearly visible and widely noticed by the population in Europe, because it was like the popularity of the female soccer has gone up very steeply in recent years, and we can see today how big phenomena it has become, and it was really great to see what happened this summer with that topic. But
Yeah, the
with this,
numbers were great, and I'm sure we get more role models for women and young girls in football, and they will also be encouraged by that to keep upping the sport. And yeah, I think we will get more
yeah,
female players in the
yeah,
future.
everyone in who does some kind of education knows how important the societal aspects and role models are when you grow up, whatever it means in your case. But anyhow, so with these concluding words, I would like to thank you, Tarja, of this interview and also your background organization with the collaboration. And we look for new activities together with you, and we will keep you informed the progress of the project as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nico, and thank you for the opportunity to take part in your project.